welcome to A Mother's Heart podcast. This Sunday, the 17th, it is. Happy Sunday to everyone. We have a special guest today, Eric Matthews. The name of today's podcast is called Overcoming Battle Scars, which I think we all can attest to that, having battle scars in this life. Life comes with good, bad, and indifferent. So let's welcome Eric Matthews on. Hey, Eric.
Hello, how are you?
I'm amazing, and you?
I'm awesome, man. I'm any day above ground is a great day.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. There
hmm
you go. Well,
Yeah.
introduce yourself and tell
Well,
us a little bit about yourself.
my name is Eric Matthews.
Mhm.
I'm a lighthearted, energetic, high vibing musician. I
Uh-huh.
love music, amongst other things, but number one on my list is definitely music.
Okay.
Um, and I just feel privileged to be able to do it. And by the
Mhm.
way, thanks for inviting me to your platform. I'm very excited about it.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you. Glad to interview you, have you on here. And let me just go back a little bit. I started this podcast on behalf of my late son, Jimmy Ray Mitchell, who passed away from an overdose in 2021. So
Wow.
I too can attest to having battle scars, but I wanted to create a safe space for anyone to come on and talk about not only trauma, but just life and just
Mhm.
a safe space for us all to come and, you know, talk about community, what's going on in community life.
Sure.
And hopefully, my goal is to help, if it's just one person, and just, on this healing journey to just, share love and healing. So
Amazing. Amazing.
just want to put that out there. So
Yeah.
I wrote down a couple of questions for you. So
Okay.
we're gonna start. So your background is music, correct?
My background is music.
Okay.
Mainly, ever since I knew I was in the world, I was surrounded by music or someone who did. You know, from my grandmother to my mom to my siblings. In fact, if you didn't have any skills or interest in music,
Hmm.
you you felt really kind of almost like an outcast when it comes to our family because
Hmm.
literally everybody has something to do with music in one way
Mm.
or
Wow, that's
yeah.
huge. That's awesome. It's awesome. I was just talking to someone. I went last night to Sundance Square and saw a group performing, and I noticed it's in their family. So that's like a bloodline thing, that music thing.
Mm,
I can
yeah,
definitely attest to that. I love music as well.
yeah,
Um,
music, powerful, powerful.
yeah, it definitely heals the soul.
hmm
Okay, how has the music helped you navigate different seasons of your life?
Interesting question. Music for me is part of my um remedy for life.
Okay.
I like to consider myself as an alchemist. you
Hmm.
know, um, Meaning when I experience bad energy
Hmm.
or what we would label bad situations, I transmute that energy
Okay.
um, and um, and make it into something useful. You know,
Hmm.
I've come to a point in my life where I don't entertain anything that's not useful.
Okay.
Know? And so what that means is there's something that's not desirable happening in my life. I know I can't get away from it because everybody has to deal with, ups and downs or situations that are not as desirable as others.
Hmm.
So what I do because I know I got to face those things is I find the positive in it. And if
Right.
there is no positive in it, I'll transmute that energy and
Hmm.
use it for my good. So to answer your question, music is one of the ways that I utilize to transmute negative experiences, so it works for my good.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. All
I know.
right. Is there a certain kind, or do you have a preference? Because I know your background was gospel. Is that correct?
Yeah, music started. in the church,
Okay.
just because my father is a pastor, my mom is
Oh,
in the church,
so
my
you're a what do they call it? PK?
PK, yeah. So that's
Okay.
where it started, but we didn't really have a super um regimen at home as it relates to being controlled on
Mm-hmm.
what to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
My parents made sure that they taught me what they felt like was right in terms of
Mm-hmm.
that I should listen to, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time gave me the freedom to listen to what I wanted to listen to. And so, fortunately, I grew up having exposure to all kinds of music, from jazz to classical to the band music in school to, of course, R&B. Back in
Mm-hmm.
my day, we were looking at Yo MV, what is it called? MTV Raps.
MTV. Oh yeah, I used to watch that. All of that. I can relate. Listen, I
Yeah,
was there
yeah.
with.
So, so as a youngin coming up, those are the shows that I would look
Mm-hmm.
at, and get inspiration from.
Listen, Soul Train, America's
Soul
Top
Train,
10, all
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
What's the guy with
Rap
the pretty
City,
eyes that was on BT? What was his name?
uh,
Don, was it Donnie something?
Simpson, Donnie Simpson, yeah,
Yeah, like all of that.
the
Same.
show, yeah, I remember that guy.
For sure. I can relate. My grandfather played the saxophone. He was self-taught. We
Okay.
had a piano in the house growing up. He had a guitar.
Hmm.
So I too was around music. I just wish I would have really tapped into it.
Hmm.
I was in choir growing up, stuff like that, but
The,
I didn't
the thing
tap into
about music is it's never too late, to
Oh, it's
tap.
not? I can
No,
still
it's never too late to tap in.
You hear that, DLS? He tries to stifle my creativity sometimes, when I give him ideas.
You gotta shake the haters off, man.
You know what?
I'm playing. I'm
Well,
playing.
that's what I'm talking about right there.
Nah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, let's see. Okay. As a performer, how do you stay grounded while dealing with personal changes in public life? Like, how do you separate?
Honestly, again, I could really take my first answer and use it as an answer for that question as well.
Okay.
Uh, this is just how important music is to me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it keeps me grounded.
Okay.
Just being able to do what I love.
Mm-hmm.
When I look around in the world and I look at people that I know, people that I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of miserable people.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
part of that misery is because they don't have an outlet,
Mm-hmm.
or don't use the outlet that they may have. You
Mm-hmm.
so what I do is I use music. Let me give you an example, so you kind of get
Okay.
a deeper understanding of what I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, if you grew up listening to or looking at these shows like Soul Train and so forth, there were
Mm-hmm.
certain things going on in your life, right? So,
Yes.
so there were songs that would come on all the time that actually became the soundtrack for your life, right?
True.
So that means, if I'm in school, I'm talking to this girl, and she decides to not be interested in me anymore. There's a song I'm listening to, right? And so
Yep.
when I went through that, I started attaching and relating moments to
Yes.
music, and time frames and periods in my life, right?
Right.
Not knowing that later on I would be, really putting my life experiences into music. But what I'm saying is,
Mm-hmm.
this is what got me, I believe, to doing it now the way that I'm doing it now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is experiencing, and because I have music all
Mm-hmm.
around me all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I use that music. You know what I'm saying? If I'm feeling bad and I don't want to feel bad, I listen to something that make me happy.
I do too.
You know what I'm saying? If
Yep.
if if I'm in a chill mode, it's certain music, even though I love it, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear something
Yeah.
chill. I want some jazz. I want some, you know what I'm saying? If I'm working, and doing something that is not music related, I still
Hmm.
use music, but it may be background music, kind of old fogey original jazz. I
Hmm.
like that juke joint jazz kind of, you know. So it's literally, I use it for a lot of different things. So to answer your question, that within itself grounds me because I'm able to get up out of my bed every day, right,
Yes.
and not punch a clock, but punch my own clock doing what I love doing and getting paid for it.
Yes.
That keeps me grounded. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that everybody is not as fortunate to be able to do what they love doing and
Yes.
have it take care of you. So
It's
yeah,
truly a blessing.
it
Truly a
is.
blessing. Yeah, I keep it in the salon because I do hair,
Yeah,
and I always have some kind of background music or something flowing as well because I feel like it helps me flow.
yeah, definitely,
I get
definitely.
lost in it. But I have a question. Has there ever been a season though where it's like I need quiet, where you didn't go to music, or you just like,
Yeah. I think later on in my life when I started really going back and analyzing and looking at those battle scars,
mm-hmm,
because I'm a very, very deep thinker. I'm not just a
hmm,
musician. I'm a deep
okay,
thinker,
okay,
right? So I read, I research, I do all of those things, and things started happening in my life so much and so consistently till I started looking within.
mm-hmm,
Started really just trying to pay attention to myself because one thing that I noticed is that through my life I lived a very external life, meaning something externally always had my attention, right? To the point where I was not able to really look inside and really kind of learn
mm-hmm,
who I am. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
But, growing up in church, it can teach you. I'll
mm-hmm,
say it can teach you how to be Superman for everybody and how to
mm-hmm,
be focused on being there for somebody. In the meantime, it's at the expense of yourself. And
mm-hmm,
you don't mind because you're doing it in the name of God, you
mm-hmm,
know. But I realized after many, many, many years of living my life like that, that I needed to really start
mm-hmm.
focusing on myself, focusing on my health, focusing on
Yes,
peace,
mm-hmm,
focusing on being able to say no, focused on, things that I needed to do for myself that at
mm-hmm.
that time I hadn't done very much, So yeah,
Self care. Would you
self
say?
self care, self care.
Acknowledging, yeah, I've had to do that. I'll say all the time, I don't try to play God anymore. I've retired my superwoman cape because I can't do God's job. You know, you can be there for people and help them and do your best, but that's not our job. You know what I mean?
I think that's a very healthy way to think and
Mhm.
a healthy way to behave. You
Mhm.
know, it'll keep you. It should keep you, in the land of the living for
Yes.
a while.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, question 3. What lessons have you learned about growth, self-discovery over the past few years? Like, what have you discovered
One
about yourself?
a major thing. One of the major things that I learned that were that's kind of like the turning point in my life, um,
Mhm.
was learning how to take responsibility for everything that
Mm.
my life. Not not labeling things
Mhm.
bad or good, you know, uh, but getting in a mindset of understanding it is what it is.
Mm.
And whatever label I put on it is not going to change it. So now what can I learn from this? Why did this come in my life? And
Mhm.
again, as I begin to grow and mature, I started
Mhm.
understanding that there's a reason attached to everything that's happening in
You
my life.
believe that? You
I
believe it?
believe, I
Do
believe
you?
that there's
Yeah.
a reason.
Even the
Yeah,
bad, even the
even
worst
the
of the
best,
worst.
even the worst of the worst, even the worst
Mhm.
of the worst. I mean, because sometimes if you are focused on what's going on externally, you're not understanding what you need in order to get you to the next level of
Mhm.
mentality, the
Mhm.
next level of behavior, the next level of evolution. Because
Mhm.
the scariest thing for me is not to evolve.
True.
I'm definitely not the same person I was when I was a child. you know, I'm
No,
not. I'm not. I'm
that
not.
was just a few months ago. Listen, when
Hey, listen.
yeah,
A lot of people are though. A lot of people
yeah,
are. Can I tell you why?
yes.
Because people gradually change. They don't drastically change.
Hmm.
That's why you can meet somebody you went to school with, and they got the same look they had back when you was in school, because people don't drastically change, they gradually change, right?
Hmm.
And I think the reason for that is because uh there's no focus on self, to see, you know how this situation molded me, or how can I learn from this, how can I become better, because I know I'll probably face it again.
Hmm.
Will I make a different decision? Just really asking yourself those questions and so forth. So yeah,
Self
I think it's
discovery.
self
Yeah,
discovery. Yeah,
yeah. It's crucial. It's crucial. Looking,
very, very,
yeah, looking yourself in the mirror and asking those hard questions is definitely an awakening. I've had to do it many times.
absolutely. So to put a cap on the answer to the question
Hmm.
again, it's I learned many things, but number
Hmm.
one, to take responsibility for the part that I played in
Hmm.
everything that has happened to me in my life, well, whether I label it good or bad,
Hmm.
uh, because I'm the star of my own movie.
There you go.
I'm the star of my own movie, and I recently realized within the last few years, I'm somewhat of a co-writer of my movie. So
Mm,
some decisions that I decide to make, becomes a part of the script. You
true.
know, and the things that happen as a result of me writing that in the script is nobody's fault but mine. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
and when I take that, I'm not taking that as being the villain, because there's a lot
Right.
of things like that has happened that
Hmm.
I don't feel like I deserved. At the same time, I'm
Okay.
not responsible for what happens outside of me.
Hmm.
I'm most responsible and most concentrated upon how I respond to what happens to me.
Cool. I like
Yeah.
that, Eric.
Don't mean to go so deep, but
I
yeah,
got you.
that's
Oh,
just kind of where I am.
you know what? Sometimes people just act funny on Sundays, but let me get back to. Also, are there any questions? Does anyone watching the podcast right now that's watching us have any questions for us for Eric? Okay, no one has questions, so we're gonna carry forward.
Awesome.
Okay, how important is it to have a support system? Do you have a strong support system? Do you have a person that if you fall off that will like, hey, I don't, you're moving funny or I noticed you kind of quiet. Do you have that person that at
Honestly,
least one person?
I'm gonna be raw and honest.
Give
I
us the raw.
do not have that person. You know,
Hmm.
not someone that. Now I have people in my life that I know care about me,
Okay.
but growing up, I grew up, not really having a normal child life. I grew up being by myself and to myself. And I think that part of my life has helped me to be able to navigate, situations in my life. Now, do I talk to people?
Hmm.
Yes, I do talk to people. Um, I have, I'm gonna say, like, a person that I really, really can talk to is really only
I mean,
maybe.
they know they know where the bodies are buried. Like even
Yeah,
Bishop
I
Jake
mean,
said, we all gotta have that
I ain't
one
never finna
person.
tell nobody where the body's buried at.
Wait a
I'm
minute
gonna
now.
say,
We
hey man,
listen.
hey, I gotta keep that secret.
You got to
Nah,
keep it 100.
nah, I'm gonna say my younger brother, man. I mean, and it's
Okay.
amazing because he's younger,
Hmm.
but very, very wise, very poised, military
Hmm.
background, so
Okay.
forth and so on. He's definitely somebody I can chop it up with.
Uh huh.
Um, Also, my manager, Derek, I've been knowing him for over 30 years. I've shared some parts of my life that I haven't shared with anybody with him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we just talk about life and life situations because that's what we're doing.
Yes.
He got his own life, I got my own life, but we
Mm-hmm.
kind of doing life together when you in business, you know,
Yes.
and you kind of, and then we have a friendship outside of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had to learn late in life
Mm-hmm.
about teamwork
Mm-hmm.
and support systems. So those things I'm working on currently.
Was that hard for you? Did you feel like you have like a wall up because of previous experience, people hurting
Absolutely,
you?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I still deal with that. I
Mm-hmm.
think I have matured to a level now
Mm-hmm.
where I'm able to kind of let loose of the reins a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and let people in and allow people to do what they're skilled and gifted to do without me having so much involvement. You know, but I think that's because I've worked on this trust versus distrust thing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And now that I have the revelation that I have,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it doesn't matter what a person does or what they're even capable of doing. The point is, am I ready to respond in the way that I need to respond?
Mm-hmm.
That's you know, and so I think that mindset is allowing me now to let people in to that space where they can be proper support for me.
Essential. How did you feel when we did the styling? Was it hard for you
It was very difficult. It was very difficult.
trusting?
It
Uh,
was it was it was difficult trusting, even for Derek because I've been knowing him over 30 years, but
mhm.
we worked in that capacity. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So
What was your hesitation? Like, what was your because you have an idea of how.
hesitation was, and this is very interesting. I've seen some of the craziest scandals and
Mhm.
craziest things that people had to try to clean up PR work because of mistakes that people have made with people's image, and different things like that. I've seen that
Mhm.
in the church arena, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so my hesitation was, you know, um, it's kind of hard to put it into words. My hesitation was, I just hope this turns out right. I don't want to look like I'm trying to be something that I'm not, but
Right.
I don't want to look old fogey either. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of knew I needed a change, but at the same time, you know, um, I just didn't know what to expect. You know, uh,
Mhm.
but as I talked to him and he began to kind of share with me details about how he's gonna move, because
Mhm.
I was learning that at
Okay.
then I actually met you and you had an opportunity to kind of show me what your style was and what you
Mhm.
kind of had planned, even though it wasn't the actual thing that we picked out. It was
Yes.
in that it kind of began to make me feel comfortable. Then I
Okay.
started seeing all these other pieces come together. The hair person, you know, D doing his thing, then the photo shoot guy and I was like, okay, so this is what it feels like to have a team, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah. So it felt really good and feels good to
Mhm.
have, people around you that can support and we can grow together.
Oh, absolutely. Because it comes for me, it's a genuine place. If I'm working with an artist or a professional, I'm going to give you 110.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you did an amazing job, an
Thank
amazing
you.
job.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's time for round two. As you might be able to tell.
I'm looking at. I'm ready whenever you're ready.
you know, definitely gonna get with D and try to see, how we can
Yeah.
continue. But got a lot of good response from it,
Did
and
you? Good feedback, positive.
great feedback. Great feedback.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we gotta show if y'all a photo or two maybe at the end of the podcast. Can we do that? Oh,
sure. I guess.
okay. If you're comfortable. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, let's take a quick little break,
All right.
and we'll come back in a few and finish out the interview. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Get it together, DLS over there.
I can imagine what he's doing behind the camera.
Let Them See You Sweat is a powerful diversity, equity, and inclusion narrative that chronicles my journey as a Black woman navigating and overcoming barriers in the workplace and in society. This book not only explores critical issues of workplace discrimination and personal resilience, but also offers actionable guidance for readers looking to foster inclusive environments. Hashtag DEI. I am diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I earned it. Equitably was not always given to me. B-Bird.
Am I the only one that didn't know how transformative sound can be? Why are there not more people talking about how crucial audio quality is for any space? I remember the day I walked into a church, filled with hope and expectation, only to be met with echoes and muffled sounds. The pastor's voice struggled to reach the back rows and the congregation was lost in a sea of confusion. That's when it hit me. Sound is the soul of any gathering place. Every club, school, and hotel deserves clarity and connection. Yet so many buildings suffer from poor audio-visual integration. With DS Sounds, we ensure high-quality equipment is installed seamlessly before the walls even go up. We save you time and money so you can focus on what truly matters, creating a space where voices are heard and spirits are lifted. Let's transform your venue into a masterpiece of sound together. Because when sound is right, everything else falls into place.
All right, we are back on the second half of A Mother's Heart podcast with Mr. Eric Matthews, our guest we've been interviewing. Thank
Yes.
you again for coming on. Okay, so let's go into question 5. What advice would you give someone trying to rebuild their confidence after a major life change?
I would say spend a lot of time in solitude, focusing on healing,
Hmm.
focusing on changing what you focus on. You
Okay.
know, I think part of healing is not or being able rather to not focus on and replay in your mind over and over again what happened to
Right.
to get you in that place. So
Hmm.
it's about really definitely getting counseling,
Hmm.
getting someone you could talk to talk through those situations, spending a lot of solitude time with yourself to try to come up with a plan on how you can bounce back, and sticking to that plan, step by
Hmm.
step. So
Okay.
the advice I would give is definitely to do those things, to start with those things.
Is that something that you personally have experienced as far as
Absolutely,
yourself?
absolutely, and that's why I mean, this is a kind of 360 moment. I remember earlier talking about how I grew up as a child,
Okay.
um, being alone. So oftentimes, whatever happened to me that I was dissatisfied, as far as a child is concerned, whatever I
Hmm.
couldn't do, or
Hmm.
whatever the case was, I had to be mad alone, in the room by
Hmm.
myself, you
Hmm.
know. So that has worked to my advantage because now that I am aware, it has
Hmm.
given time to utilize a lot of the tools that I'm speaking of right now, and that
Hmm.
I continue to use. Just solitude, quiet time, meditation, prayer,
Yes.
you know,
Hmm.
um, and reading, listening to information that
Hmm.
I can relate to, that
Yes.
can help me or spark something in my mind
Hmm.
that will allow me to say, okay, this right here could fit, in helping my healing. So those things I can only, you know, um, use on this platform as advice to others, and it's different strokes for different folks, but I think those things across the board universally will help
Hmm.
people get closer to that place of healing that they need to get to.
Hmm. Do you feel, I asked Maddie on the last podcast. Do you ever feel like there's a point in your life where you're like, I'm healed, the work is over, or do you think it's like a constant?
I have felt like that. I have felt like that. But I realized very quickly, only
Hmm.
because I have not been faced with the same issues,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
the same hurt, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I think healing is a continual thing, you know.
Hmm.
If it's not, then I know it's at least, um, I at least should spend as much time as I have spent being a human all the way up
Hmm.
until I
Hmm.
should at least, I should at least match that time, because every day all the way up until this point, until I became aware of what I'm speaking of,
Hmm.
I, developed habits. I observed, the choices and decisions of others.
Hmm.
I was influenced by those choices and decisions. I've made decisions. I've received some of the same circumstances that they have, So I think unless it's a dramatic situation where one day you just experience something that just completely changes you, you
Hmm.
have to consistently heal. And even when you get to a place of healing,
Hmm.
I think it's important to do preemptive things. And what I mean by preemptive, there's such thing as a preemptive attack. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So if you're attacking somebody, you're preemptive. You thinking about it. It's premeditated. You already
Right.
know exactly what you're going to do, and you're putting things in place to prevent your enemy from destroying you. So
Right.
that's
Like
what I mean by
protection.
preemptive. I mean, I'm not waiting on another situation to happen to devastate me. I'm actually being proactive and being prepared now for what my response to whatever may come my way
Hmm.
will be. And a lot of people think, off the top that that's going to be something bad, but
Hmm.
you can gain a certain level of success and not be prepared for it based on what you've gone through in the past, and it ends up destroying you, or
Mm.
go in a direction that you're not supposed to go in. So it's just about being prepared for whatever, whenever.
That's huge. Wow, that's huge because a lot of people are not prepared for the success or the this and the that, and then they crash
Absolutely.
because it came too fast, you know?
Yep. And they crash because they've not already thought about what could possibly come with this thing that I want.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There are reactions, there are actions, and there are reactions. So there's a reaction to every action, and all of it ain't good.
Yeah,
You
pros
know,
and cons.
pros and cons. So you got to be prepared for whatever it is that you're seeking to accomplish.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
Just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. All right. So next question. Do you believe pain or life experience can influence creativity and artistry?
absolutely. That's my whole career. Even on the gospel side.
Really?
Just,
Like
yeah.
what? Give us a story or a little short. Do you have anything that stands
Absolutely.
out that you can?
I went through a divorce of 13 years, and
Mhm.
I wrote a whole album about it.
Did you?
But just put it in gospel terms, and God, will heal and all that, But yeah, I've done that. Pretty much almost every song that I've written has come from a personal experience. Almost, not every, but almost every song that I've written has either inspired me to
Mhm.
write a
Mhm.
song,
Mhm.
or I just completely wrote about it. And I've done that since I've not been, so much in
Mhm.
gospel.
Mhm.
I think they make for great songs because it's things that everybody go through. It's things that
Right.
everybody deal with. You
Touches
you
those emotions. Do you feel like it like taps in?
Absolutely. And I
Mhm.
think also that's probably why people are impacted by my music, because I have a personal experience behind it. I can
Mhm.
sing with a level of conviction that people can feel.
Mm.
I mean, and if you look at any R&B artist out there that really touched your heart, I guarantee you they're writing from personal experience. It's not
Mm.
something that they're replicating, that they seen somebody else do. It's coming from, and that's why I feel like you get the term real recognize real. You know,
Mm.
it's almost
Like
like
that.
It's almost like you're meeting somebody in your course of, doing your business who had a son to pass away. Y'all standing
Yeah.
on common ground. So some of the
Right.
things that she's going to say or he's going to say is going to immediately touch you because you immediately resonate with
Yes.
what it is they're saying because you have that experience,
Yes.
you
Right.
know? And because you have that experience, I think that's probably what makes supporters and super fans. It's just people that you're talking to that need to hear what you're saying because of what you went through.
Absolutely. That's why I started this podcast, because I felt like there's not a lot of places for people to go and share and talk, and
Yeah.
I wanted to be that place where people can come
Yeah, I
and
think that's amazing. I think to want to do that
yeah.
is amazing because you got to be vulnerable to do that. To make people feel comfortable, you got to talk about your pain. So
Oof,
I commend that.
thank you. Do you have any questions for me before I go on with
Uh,
you?
that's a great question. But just because my mindset wasn't that, I just wanted to be as open as I could be to
Sure.
answer honestly and
Yeah.
ask the question that you had for me.
Hmm.
So right at the very moment, I don't
Hmm.
have any questions.
Okay. Well, if anything comes up before the interview, feel
Sure.
free to ask, because I don't
Now I'm
mind being.
thinking that way. I'm sure one or two, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. Okay. So, question 7. What keeps you motivated to continue performing and pursuing your passion?
Oh, that's easy. The thing I've already accomplished. I'm a results driven person, right?
Hmm.
And there's two things that I know. Number one is if you, no matter how slow you're walking, if
Hmm.
you're moving,
Hmm.
it's inevitable that you won't be in the same place after enough time has passed by.
Hmm.
Um, those little steps, those small moves, those things, tangible, physical things that I can touch or data that I can quantify keeps me excited about continuing to move forward because it's progress. It's progress that I haven't seen. So I'm not focused on the Grammy. I'm not focused on the 100,000, streams. What I'm focused on is small success after small success. That keeps me motivated. As
Hmm.
long as I'm moving forward, I know a year from now, I'm not going to be where I am, and that's what keeps me motivated. And I actually take that mentality in life outside of what I'm trying to achieve,
Hmm.
just in life across the board.
Hmm.
Whatever I do, if I do it consistently, I'm gonna see results.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you stop and smell the roses? Do you enjoy your success along the way? You know what I mean? Because sometimes, I know I'm like this. I'm on to the next thing. And sometimes I'm like, pause.
I'm learning. I'm just like you. I am learning how to do that because that's just not the lifestyle that I've had. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the lifestyle that I had is grind, 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 grind. Not for yourself, but for everybody else. And then
Hmm.
once they have what they have, keep on grinding because somebody else gonna need something, and
Hmm.
something another situation is gonna happen. So I think it's good in a way. I think there
Hmm.
are pros to it, and I
Hmm.
think there are cons to it.
Hmm.
I'm learning now to live in the moment, to not be held captive by the past or the future, but
Hmm.
to live in the moment and
Hmm.
enjoy the journey. And that's kind of where I am now. And that photo shoot was everything to me because it's almost one of the first times that I actually sat back and enjoyed the process. You know what I mean?
What was your favorite part?
That's kind of hard. There were a lot of favorite parts. First one was for me not to have to coordinate the whole thing. That was a
Okay.
great part there,
Letting
because that's,
go.
that's what I've done most of my life.
Yes.
Another part was realizing halfway through the process that, man, y'all got this. So I don't even have to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let alone just the look and the transformation and
Mhm.
how I felt actually having a real support team with no hate,
Mhm.
no side eyeing, no evil eye. It was just pure and clean. I think
Mhm.
that was my most favorite feeling. Uh,
Okay.
but I had a lot of other, feelings. Just going in
Okay.
there, looking at the clothing, and trying to
Mhm.
figure out what style is this lady gonna pick. How she gonna have me looking? How am I gonna look when I come from the haircut place? You
Mhm.
know, how's these videos that D is doing gonna look? How's
Mhm.
how's this photo shoot gonna look? And then I started seeing the release of the promotions and marketing, and that was another great moment. I was just like, wow, man. I mean, I'm already a workhorse myself, but to see
Mhm.
people following through in their lane with their gift, it just made me see how much bigger this thing can be if I just relinquish a little control and just let people who do it every day, who do it for a living, do what they do. So all of that, and I still haven't covered everything that I felt, but that's just
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for that. It was an honor and a pleasure, and I truly enjoyed it. I really did.
It amazes me to see people operate in the and because obviously we all have different gifts. So
Mhm.
it's like you see somebody that's killing it, doing what they do, and you couldn't do it because you don't have a gift for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just amazing to 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 see all those energies working together. The
Mhm.
photo guy, the manager, the designer. I'm doing my thing as far as the music, and we all just working toward one goal. It's amazing.
That is awesome. That is awesome. It always, it takes a team. What they say, it takes a village sometimes.
Absolutely,
I'm just
especially
happy.
for somebody like me that hasn't experienced that.
Mhm.
It just heightens everything for me.
Do you think now by having a village, it's going to elevate your career to the next
Absolutely,
level instead
I
of you
don't
doing everything?
I don't think anybody has accomplished major things without having a team and
Mhm.
support. I don't think anybody has. I mean, I can't see nowhere in history evidence of anybody impacting the world in a major way
Mhm.
and nobody else but them being involved in that process.
Mhm.
I don't even know whether that's possible. So yes, I'm looking forward to continuing to work with my team. I'm
Mhm.
looking to add people to that team.
Mhm.
I'm looking to just see, because I haven't even seen, a fraction of what I believe,
Mhm.
the team that I have now can do.
Okay. What are your goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 1 to 2, 5? Like, what is Eric Matthews? Like, where do you see
So,
yourself?
so, so for that, you got to be a little bit more specific. 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years? Because I
Let's
got
let's let's just go with
all
let's go with the year. In a year, like musically, do you see yourself performing more, traveling,
in a
touring?
year. In a year, I see me well on my way as a household name.
Mm,
I see, at least 500,000 to a million or more streams. I see tons and tons of people being impacted by the music. I see it um, helping me financially to continue to be the philanthropist that I am,
mhm,
to take some of those funds and help people.
mhm,
I see the team around me prospering, and we all just growing together and just experiencing success at a whole nother level. That's what I see.
that's what you see, Eric. Okay.
That's what I see, and that's what I know will
Stand
happen.
on it. Stand
Yeah,
on
that
it.
I know will happen. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I wrote that in the script already.
What is the really?
Yeah, I wrote it in the script already.
Did okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Next question. How do you protect your peace and mental wellness in today's world with everything going on around? How do you stay in a place of peace and let your creativity like flow with that?
I put my blinders on. I
Mm.
put my blinders on, and I'm not saying, I'm not speaking figuratively, because I know I need to be aware of what's going on around me.
Mhm.
But I feel like that I'm vibrating at such a high level. I'm able to see what's going on around me. And just because I don't say anything don't mean that I don't know. It's just that, what has changed is my response to it. I'm gonna fly above it, and I'm gonna deal with people according to what they show me that they don't even know they're showing me. And that's
Mm.
how I deal with it.
Same, I can relate. I hear people tell me stuff about what's going on in the world, on the news, and did you hear about this? And I'm like, I don't let that get into I have tunnel vision,
Yeah,
because if you let that, my belief is if you let it tap in, it will start affecting you. So,
absolutely. I mean, because perception, and this could not be a more truer statement,
mm,
perception is reality.
absolutely. So,
Perception is reality. You know how many people got different perceptions, but
yes.
those perceptions are their reality, right?
Hmm.
That's why you
Yes,
can't change a person's mind who's convinced and who has a perception of what it is. You can't
absolutely.
change their mind. So when you stop trying to change their mind, then you can start living. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I think
Yes,
the whole focus is the distraction of trying to make people believe something that they just don't want to believe based on their perception.
true.
You
That's a
know,
bar.
that's what
That's
I
a
mean.
bar.
And I think the blessing in that is realizing that you can't. You just got to continue to behave in a way and just hope people see that whatever story they done made up in their mind is not true. And even if it don't change, being to a point where you can see it, you can
Mhm,
acknowledge it, but you can
mhm,
continue to stay focused on where you're going.
mhm.
I'm determined nothing's going to stop me at this point from getting where I need to be. Nothing.
I like that. I feel the same way,
Yeah.
because I feel like most of the time, like you said, the perception, you can't change a person's mind. They're gonna think and believe how they want to. So,
And that's really their reality. It's
yeah, that's true.
perception is reality. It's just that, but if you don't live in that dimension,
Mhm.
that's not the Cherie you are.
No.
You understand? So it's like, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I have bent over backwards to make sure that what I felt people perceived about me was something that truly represented who I am and who I
Mhm.
was. And it's just hard work, man. It's stressful. It'll bring you to a place of sickness, man. Trying to meet up to these unrealistic
Whew.
expectations and those kinds of things. So to answer your question, that's what I do. That's what keeps me through. It's
Mhm.
like, I mean, I think it takes that one drastic thing to happen to you, and you
Mhm.
look up and ain't nobody there, to realize, why should this opinion be that important?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't there, when I was rebuilding.
Whew. Right.
So it's like, now I'm not going to be dismissive to you, but at the same time, I'm not going to give you that kind of power.
No.
I'm not going to give you that kind of power, because if I do that, then I lock myself into this never-ending cycle of disappointment, of going out of my way to try to prove to somebody it's not what you think, blah 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 blah, whatever the case
Yeah.
is, and that's when you can start living. That's when the freedom comes. That's when you can actually have a scar, because a scar is something that doesn't hurt. It's just a reminder that something did hurt, right? When it has truly become a scar and it's scabbed over and healed, it's a scar. The pain is
Mhm.
not there anymore, right? The
Yes.
pain is not there anymore. The scar is there to, like these scars on my arm,
Mhm.
it's just a reminder that I had a bad accident, but I'm not dealing with the pain of that car accident anymore,
Right.
because I'm healed. But I had a,
Amen.
so I think
Yeah.
your podcast is befitting in terms of the name battle scars, you know, them scars, man, can continue to motivate you because you can see the residue of what you made it through.
Yes.
That doesn't hurt anymore. If that ain't inspiration to continue to move forward and accomplish what you want to accomplish, I don't know what is.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so true because people are always on the outside looking in and they have assumptions and assume and they never know, you know, what you've been through, what you're going through.
Yeah.
And like for me, you know, I'm gonna just go from 2020 to just maybe a year ago. I went through a divorce. I sold my house. My
Wow.
son passed away. I had a Mercedes, got totaled. My shop, you know, had my own salon, closed that down, downsize, you know, so all those are huge things that
Yeah.
happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the worst thing that could have happened to a person, like, like what
Can,
else? You know what I mean? So
you know
now I'm
what?
on.
I would encourage you to rephrase it from
Okay.
the worst thing
Okay.
to, because what I see on your podcast, those things, even though they didn't feel good, have
Mm-hmm.
become pillars that's
Mm-hmm.
holding this platform up.
True.
What are you going to have to talk about? What are you going to have to share to inspire people?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna share with people to help them make it through what they went through? You know,
Yes.
yeah, you don't like what you went through, but
No.
you gotta become an alchemist. You gotta transform, you know, what would have been negative
Mm-hmm.
and something that can propel
Mm-hmm.
this platform so that you have more people to impact, you know, from your experience. Because that's at the end of the day, all we're sharing. We're just sharing our experience through this
Yes.
platform,
Mm-hmm.
through music, through management, through whatever it is that God has blessed us to be able to do. We're just
Mm-hmm.
sharing the power of our experience and how we dealt with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like in hindsight, even, you know, I was in a relationship, toxic, went through some things, but I feel like it boomeranged me forward. I was just telling someone that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I look back and it's almost like, you know, everything good, bad, and different brought me to where I am now.
Yeah.
And I'm at a place of, I like what I see when I look in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like what I'm
Yeah.
doing, you know, my kids are good. My grandkids, you know, are good. You know, I miss my son every day. That
Absolutely.
I have my good days, bad days, and that's something. Even my grief counselor, she's like, Cherie, it's something you'll never get over, but you learn how to live with it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And by doing this and living my best life is honoring my son. I don't sit in a corner crying, depressed, giving up on life.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my story. I know that some people, that's how they cope with their grief.
Yeah.
But my story and how I live my life is I'm going to push forward. I'm going to be the best that I can be. I'm going to create a space and I'm going to help others that are going through this as well.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think that's important. There's one thing I'd like to say that I think will help people. It has tremendously helped me, and that is
Mm-hmm.
because I've had a sister to die. My
Mm-hmm.
mother passed, and my grandmother raised me. So it's
Okay.
like my grandmother is my mom, and my mom is my grandmother. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I love them both, but you know, she's not no longer with us, and I have a
Mm-hmm.
sibling that's no longer with us. And
Okay.
so, what I do when it comes to grief and pain,
Mm-hmm.
I realize that every thought is attached to an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
When I think that thought, then chemically, there are chemicals that are released in my body to make me feel like how I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So when I understand the power of thoughts and that thoughts can really ultimately affect my behavior through the
Mm-hmm.
emotion that's attached to
Mm-hmm.
them, I guard my mind. And when I think about my sister, when I think about my grandmother or those that have gone on, I think of thoughts that make me feel good because
Mm-hmm.
it's the thing. You think about a good thought, it's going to release a chemical reaction in your body to make you feel like what you're thinking.
Yes.
Most people go through life, um, you know, the opposite. You know, They are driven by how they feel. So that's
Mhm.
what they're going to think about all the time.
Mhm.
Whereas when you control your thoughts, right, and you intentionally think about high vibrating things, think about happy things, happy moments, stuff that would make you happy, that's how you pull yourself out of depression. Not to say that bad thoughts won't ever come, but when
Mhm.
they come, you get to choose how long I'm going to think about this, because there are no thoughts that can occupy the mind at the same time. There's only one thought that can occupy the mind at the same time. So if you
Mhm.
keep your mind on something good, then nothing bad can sneak in that space until you become unaware and just a memory come back. But even
Mhm.
when that happens, you gotta replace it with a thought that can be used. That's my motto for this year. I'm not using no thoughts, no actions from people that are
Mhm.
not usable. If it's not usable, I'm
Mhm.
not giving it no thought time.
Same. I've adapted that in my own life, in my way of living. Like, and if something, I try to like get it off like immediately and like
Me,
go to something else.
because the longer you do it,
Mhm.
only thing that thinking about something does is either it brings the pain of the past into your present. That's why
Mhm.
no age on it. You're gonna feel just as bad as you felt when it actually happened. Just think
Mhm.
about it long enough. It's gonna
Yes.
it's like it's because you're reliving it over again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely
Anyway,
can move forward.
yeah.
All right. Well, our last question.
Mhm.
What would you like listeners to take away from your story and journey?
I mean, this interview was a perfect way to kind of verbalize. I would like them to go through this interview again and just listen
Mhm.
to some of my responses, because that's truly my message. I mean, I don't have a message that's full of a lot of different things. The
Mhm.
the message is you can achieve what you need, what you want to achieve, but
Mhm.
stay focused, guard your mind,
Mhm.
decide what you want to experience, and go after that with all your might. Don't let anything stop you. You,
Mhm.
not even your own doubt. And the way that you deal with that is you replace those thoughts. You may get some of those thoughts from a book. You may get some of those thoughts from a prayer or a meditation. You may get some of those thoughts from going overseas and just experiencing something that you haven't experienced. But just creating a regimen where you do something every day that moves you forward to your goals. And I guarantee you, your life, you'll start feeling different,
Mhm.
which means that you'll start living different, and it'll be a joy just to wake up every morning, as opposed to waking up with the stress of what you got to deal with for that day or that week.
Tell us something real quick. Something you do. Is it that you do every day? To that one thing. Is it prayer? Is it?
Something that I do every day. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, every single morning, no matter if I go to bed at 3 o'clock, I'm gonna get up at 5.
Wow.
I got my alarm set. I'm
Mhm.
gonna use at least an hour and a half to meditate. I put on some soft music and I chart out my day.
Mhm.
I imagine in my mind what my day is gonna be like.
Mhm.
It's
So
going to be great. I'm going to accomplish everything that I need to accomplish. I'm going to have some amazing things happen. And I just do that consistently. And then once I get done with that, I'll go take a walk. Um, I walk 5 times around a sports arena that we have here in the city.
Mhm.
I do that walk. And while I'm doing that walk, I do what's called habit stacking you know, um, two good things that's going to set my day at the same time, which is
Mhm.
exercise, but
There
I'm
you go.
also, but I'm also listening to
Mhm.
something that's going to inspire me, that's going to open my mind up even more.
Mhm.
Self development, those kinds of things. Those are just a few things that I do before I touch a keyboard, listen to a song, or even eat. You know, um,
Mm.
those things I'm doing before anything, religiously every day. And, sometimes I might miss. Friday night, I did a concert at a club here. And man, I got in at 5 in the morning, just networking, meeting different people. My
Mhm.
set was done at 1, but just talking to people and stuff. You know, I got in at 5.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so guess what? I didn't go to sleep.
You stayed up?
Stayed up,
Mhm.
but there have been times where I didn't, you know.
Mhm.
And what I do is I don't beat myself up for it,
Mhm.
because I've done it more times than not. So let me
There you
just
go.
back on track and
Mhm.
keep moving.
You
Yeah.
give yourself grace.
And that's what I do with everything. It's just
Woo.
it's becoming a big cycle. Like
Mhm.
um how I am right now, I'm
Mhm.
about to get back where I need to be. About time, you know what I'm saying? It's about just when you see
Mhm.
something that needs to be paid attention to and recycled, you recycle it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah,
I love that for you. That's
my mind
awesome.
started being filled up with bad thoughts. It's time to recycle. You
For
know,
sure. Reset.
put some good thoughts in. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Well, it has been a pleasure. Man, I still feel like I have questions to ask you, but we're going to end on a good note here. And we have some pictures from the photo shoot.
Yeah, that was amazing, amazing,
Yeah, that we collaborated on.
amazing photo shoot.
And so we're just giving a yeah, look at that. How are you feeling? Just give us a quick little where you're feeling like
Felt
I'm
felt
that man. Like, yeah.
man, I felt like Leon Thomas or somebody like, you know what I'm saying? I thought
Leon,
I was
you
thinking
was
something.
popping your collar like,
Not from that place.
I got you. Okay.
It was more from a place of gratitude, because like I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was
Yes.
actually in the moment that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazing, man. I didn't know I could feel that way. So, again, it wasn't about, uh, popping my collar or anything. It was just about just, man, let me absorb the
Mm-hmm.
feeling of this moment. It's kind of how I was feeling. I
You
was
just
just,
you were taking it in. You were taking
I
it
was
in.
very grateful. Yeah, yeah,
I got
definitely.
you. Well,
Yeah.
tell us where you can be found, about your music, a little bit of
Okay. Yeah.
closing. Yeah.
Definitely. You can go to www High Riff. That's HIGHRIFF.net.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get me on all social media at Eric ERICK Matthews MATTHEWS Live LIFE Eric Matthews Live. You can catch me on all social media platforms that way. Of course, just look my name up. If you want to stream any music,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that, you can go on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere, any platform they have. They sell music. I'm pretty much on.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being on Mother's Heart Podcast. Thank you to the viewers. We just thank you. If anyone is interested in being a sponsor, please let us know. We would love to have you. Like, share, follow, and thank you for tuning in. And until the next time, much love. Thank you. Peace out.